It is not enough for you to say I'm moral. You have to be processed. And if you are not processed, I don't think you can be fit. It's just a matter of time. From my own understanding and a little bit of experience. If you don't give people onto processing, they won't last. When I say they won't last, they won't be able to be the forerunner to build what will last. They can be followers. And even if they are followers, then they must now start their own process as their followers. Did you understand? Because if you don't feel what God is doing on your inside, you won't be able to bear it. It will get to a time you won't be able to bear. You might feel this thing is too, you want to give up. Yeah. So Mary was patterned in that life. Even John that was to prepare, John has to be patterned like that. There has to be a sacrifice so that you place a demand on what. So if God begins to show you certain things, there is a way you will take this message very serious. Who shall declare? Who will declare his generation? There's a way your heart will burn towards these things. And that is what Christ has come to do. And the utmost of it, as I shared it the other time, as I share these things, it's not just that I'm talking about the Christ. I think I mentioned it earlier. I've seen him in an encounter. Yeah. And when you, as I said, when you see the Christ, there is something, it becomes a seal to your life. Nobody, even parents, cannot change that seal. Nobody can change the seal. Oh my God. When you see the Christ, it's not just that you are trying to talk, you see the Christ. Your being has been changed totally. There is a way you can't walk again. If you go and walk in that way, you might lose your sense. Let me tell you something. There is a level you get to in God. You can't go back again. If there's a way the person will feel that there is a disorderliness. Yeah. Because there will be a war, a holy war in your spirit. You are not the one that caused the war, but by the reason of what you've seen, it has become a seal. The seal will fight you. That is what a canter does to a man. So thank you, Spirit of God. When Philip met the Enoch, right? And the Enoch now understood Jesus and saw, because Philip was able to show him. And I will now tell you, thank you, there are certain things that happen. Somebody might say Philip was able to disappear, and you understand? And me too, I want to do that. If there is no reason for you to do that, it won't happen in your lifetime. Did you understand? Peter didn't. It was not written of Peter. It was not written of Paul. And it could be any of the apostles. It's just that God chose Philip to do. Philip showed up, but the Enoch, the guy, did not know how Philip appeared, right? You just, did you? How will somebody? But now the Enoch guy will now know who was Philip. That Philip was not just God. That's right, because then Philip just disappeared. Then he will give glory to God. So that thing that guy saw, that Ethiopian guy saw, was already an encounter to his spirit. He has met God. Because something supernatural has been shown to his spirit. And it is enough for him to go to Ethiopia with the message of the Christ. God of mercy. If it will not profit that Ethiopia enough, he won't have to see the disappearance of Philip. Because it was to profit his spirit as an encounter. Yeah. And Philip doesn't have to meet him twice. A single encounter can make a man survive his entire life. A single encounter. The rest is just for you to be building yourself in your most holy faith. A single encounter. A single encounter. What we are talking, that was why Jesus doesn't have to be dying twice, 3 times. A single death and resurrection is enough to change the globe. Yeah. If we are ready to show God, if men see us, just by seeing us, they should change. Because Philip was given just a chance to meet the Ethiopian Enoch. And if you were in that situation, what will you preach? He said, and he preached unto him Jesus. Will you preach self? If the guy has preached self, the Ethiopian Enoch will still go and be doubting. Yeah. He preached Jesus. You might say, is it just like that? Oh, because his heart was now opened. Okay, what will now happen after all this? He got baptized. Okay, what else? Then the Lord shows something to him, an encounter. He has not seen a man disappeared. So he see a God-fashioned man came to meet him. So he might even think he's an angel. In his own way, he might think he's an angel. But beyond that, he has seen something that men don't see. Did you understand? And it becomes a stamp to his spirit. And he left rejoicing. Left rejoicing. Left rejoicing. That is what Christ is doing. That is what Christ is doing. So if God can find men that he can raise again, who will declare his generation? Yeah. People that can represent him in his order. If you know how quick and how serious this matter was in heaven, there is a way we will present the gospel of the Christ. Yeah. It was a serious matter. It was a serious matter. That was why the law, God had to preserve the people for the sake of this thing.